Welcome to Dish and Nutrition Podcast, where we dish on trending nutrition topics, all the while making it easy and fun to understand. I'm your host, Sarah Williams.
I'm your co-host, Emma Boland.
We are back.
Yay.
We are back. It's been 2 weeks, and I truly apologize.
It's really been 2?
2 weeks without episodes, yeah. I'm not even going to lie. First week, I was just dead. Emma can attest. I was like the Walking Dead zombie, just walking around. And Harper had no school, so I was also taking care of a toddler. So rip to my soul. And then the second week, I again still had no childcare for Harper. And it's surprisingly hard to record a podcast with a screaming toddler.
I was also dead too.
Yeah, so you were sick as well.
Sickness is going around.
Yes. But I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to finally be back in the studio to record.
The studio.
Hashtag
if
guest
only
bedroom.
You could see what we were in right now.
But I thought, hey, if we're gonna come back with a vengeance and just really piss off a lot of people.
Shoot.
So let's talk about raw milk.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum. Every time I talk about it on Nutritional Sarah, people come at me. Guns a-blazing. It's a very, if you like raw, it's either you really support raw milk or you don't. There's no in between people that I've seen.
I'm personally just uneducated. So can you educate me a little?
I can so educate you.
Because when
Edumacate.
Raw milk, what's the
pasteurization? Okay. Yeah, we're going to get into it. Milk. We're going to get in what pasteurization even is and just kind of the dangers of raw milk and why it's super exciting to people.
Why is it trending?
I mean, it's very synonymous with the carnivore diet because, everything raw, clean, pure, all those trigger words.
All the Cali girls post about their raw milk.
But yeah, so let's get into it. And I'm excited to be controversial. What we do best. Are you lactose intolerant?
I've never been told that by a doctor, but if I drink too much milk, your girl is like the person in White Chicks. Okay. Have you seen White Chicks?
I actually haven't. I haven't.
That's right.
But I know what you're referencing.
The one where she's in the toilet and her
1000.
legs are moving all across the... Anyways.
I understand the reference. Maybe we'll
Wait, we need to watch White Chicks then.
Let's do it. Next girls' night. So let's get into the topic of what is raw milk.
Wait, hold on. Are you lactose intolerant? No. Too much hurts you?
Too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can have a little bit. If I have too much ice cream. But I mean, that could also be a combination of different things. I can't just get a big old 8-ounce glass of whole milk.
It hurts. It hurts my belly. Hurt.
Yeah.
Queasy.
I think it's over 60% of people have lactose intolerance.
Okay.
I think that's the statistics. I think it's either 63 or 68%. So it's more than half.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty common thing.
Not need a full glass of milk.
I've met more people who are lactose intolerant than who are not as adults. Yeah. Fun fact.
Fun fact what?
I was going to say fun fact. Lactose intolerance increases as your age increases because the lactase enzyme that breaks down lactose diminishes as you get older.
Because I feel like Harper drinks milk a lot.
Exactly. So that's why you don't see it as often in younger kids.
That's interesting. Because I actually did drink milk as a kid and then around middle school, high school.
But yeah, so fun fact. That has nothing to do with raw milk. I mean, it does, but not. Anyway, so what is raw milk? Raw milk is the milk that comes directly from cows, sheep, or other animals without it undergoing the pasteurization process. Okay. Farm to table, teat to teeth, if you will.
Teat.
It's just straight out of the body into your cup.
That's what raw milk is?
That's what raw milk is.
The milk that I'm buying from the store.
That is pasteurized milk.
Which is...
Do you want to know what pasteurization is?
Do it.
I got you. All right. So the milk that you see at the store is going to be pasteurized milk. What is pasteurization? Pasteurization is a heat treatment process that is used to kill harmful microorganisms in food and beverages, particularly in milk, without significantly affecting the taste, quality, or nutritional value of said product.
So it's a heating?
Yes. The primary goal of pasteurization is to make the product safe for consumption and extend its shelf life.
Wait, is pasteurization, is it necessary?
Yes. A lot of people that's the controversy between raw milk and pasteurized milk is it necessary? And people who abide by evidence-based research would err on the side of yes, it's necessary to not get foodborne illness. Okay. So pasteurization is a heat treatment that kills those microorganisms and foodborne illnesses.
Heating it up to kill all the bacteria.
Exactly. All right. So the history of pasteurization, just to get a full story, pasteurization is named after the French scientist Louis Pasteur, who developed the process in the mid 19th century. So he was investigating how to prevent wine and beer from spoiling, but his work laid the foundation for pasteurizing other foods like milk. And in 1864, Pasteur demonstrated that heating wine and beer to a specific temperature for a certain amount of time could kill most bacteria and molds that were responsible for like spoilage and therefore preserving the beverage's quality. And that laid the foundation for pasteurization for milk. Yes. So we can thank Louis Pasteur for not getting E. coli when we drink our milk.
So then if my context clues are contexting, raw milk is dangerous.
Ding, ding, ding. Because of foodborne illnesses. Just getting even more into pasteurization because I want to make sure, I feel like people are afraid of this process and it's really not scary.
Yeah.
It's time and temperature. There's 3 different methods that are primarily used. There is high temperature, short time. So the milk is heated to 161 degrees Fahrenheit and it's held at that temperature for 15 seconds. And that's like the most common method for pasteurizing milk. And it effectively kills most of the bacteria, yeasts, and molds that can cause illness or spoilage. And then there's called ultra pasteurization, where the milk is heated to 280 degrees Fahrenheit, held at 2 seconds, and then
2 seconds?
2 seconds.
Oh, wow. That's quick.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Not a big deal, right? And then the usage is that method kills nearly all the bacteria, resulting in the milk that has a longer shelf life, even when not refrigerated until opened. So, the things that are on the shelf, but you have to refrigerate them after opening. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
And then there's low temperature, long time. So milk is heated to 145 degrees Fahrenheit, held at that temperature for about 30 minutes. And then that method is often used in smaller scale operations or for products where a gentler process is desired to maintain certain flavors or qualities. So it's not a scary process.
Yeah,
it's
really
literally
not.
just heat. It's not like, I don't know where pasteurization got this maybe scary narrative.
Yeah. Because when they're like pasture raised cows.
Yes. So that has to do with how they're raising their cattle. Pasteurization. I see your confusion.
You know what I mean?
It sounds like pasture.
It does. So I wonder if
this is just because his last name was Pasteur.
I know. Okay. Yeah.
So yes, it has nothing to do with how cattle is raised.
Okay.
It's literally just the milk. Just to clarify for general audience.
Yeah.
That is confusing. I do not see the confusion.
I'm looking up images of raw milk so I can.
It looks just like normal milk.
I know it does. Well, I didn't know if it was clumpier or something.
I would like to say that there probably is clumps and stuff. Yeah, that's nasty.
Yeah, no.
I've come across people, even in my own life, who genuinely drink raw milk and are big advocates, and unfortunately give it to their children too. And hey, you make your own choices for your own bodily autonomy, but don't force potentially harmful decisions upon your children. That's kind of where I draw the line, and that's where I'm a little bit passionate about, if you will. So let's talk about the impact of nutritional content. So there's a myth that's the pasteurization just completely diminishes any and all. Yeah, you're looking it up right now. Yeah, it's just there's a myth and it diminishes any and all content within it. It's you're drinking basically water. These are all the arguments. That could not be further from the truth. And while pasteurization, it does cause minor changes, a little bit. But let's talk about them. The essential nutrients remain largely intact. That's all that matters. So let's get into it. And before people have a gotcha moment with me saying that, let's get into it before
we start to spiral here.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So the essential nutrients that remain largely intact, protein content is largely unaffected by pasteurization.
Okay. So you're still getting all
you're getting your proteins. Yeah. Totally unaffected. Vitamins. This is where people come up with their pitchforks and say, oh, I got you, but it's not. So some heat sensitive vitamins like vitamin C, which are very heat sensitive, those are slightly reduced. But do you get a big old glass of milk and say, man, I'm getting my vitamin C in? No.
Like you're not drinking
that is not the main source.
That's why you drink other things such as...
Milk is not a major source of those vitamins. So I guess I'm just a person that's like, is it that big of a deal?
No, it's
not. But the primary nutrients of concern, such as calcium, vitamin D, and B vitamins, they remain stable.
Okay.
I will say some companies add in more vitamin D. I don't see an issue with that. I really don't. Like most people are deficient in vitamin D, so I don't see any harm in adding more vitamin D, but apparently that ruffles some people's feathers. But that's more
interesting,
opinionated. Yeah. I don't see it, but the vitamin D within the milk remains pretty stable. And then the enzymes, pasteurization does destroy some naturally occurring enzymes in milk. However, these enzymes are not essential for human health and do not contribute significantly to the nutritional value of milk. So neither here nor there, folks. Not a big deal.
Also, side note, maybe this is just me, but I feel like a lot of people I know are like this. I don't drink milk because I'm like, I really hope I'm getting... Like, I'm drinking because genuinely I like the taste. Like, if I need vitamin D...
Oh, you're either a milk lover or a milk hater.
I'm going to supplement it elsewhere. Like, I'm not going to milk solely
Milk is not... Like, we're not babies. It's not the sole source of nutrition for us. Yes. So if your argument for drinking raw milk is oh, well, it's missing some nutrients,
like, are you going to milk for... Yeah, exactly.
Are you drinking in your bottle before you go night-night? Like, yeah. So let's talk about the safety risks of raw milk. This is the main reason why I'm such an advocate for consuming pasteurized milk. The main issue here is that raw milk can carry harmful bacteria that can cause serious illness.
Okay.
Point blank period. Like it's not rocket science. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
how does that get misconstrued?
Like the CDC, FDA, and other health organizations have warned about the dangers of consuming raw milk. I will say I am very hyper aware that people have trust issues with these large organizations, and I hear you and you are validated in your feelings. However, this is a conversation that is like needs to be had because like, I don't know. If I'm drinking my milk, I don't want to be like, am I going to get E. coli today or not? Like, if you have the option to not have that risk, why are you taking it?
No, literally. Let me just go eat raw chicken.
Exactly.
Like, what? What?
Thank you. The warnings that these organizations and health, like go to your doctor and he'll, unless it's one of those whack doctors, they'll most likely say, hey, like, don't do it because you can get harmful bacteria. But these warnings aren't theoretical. They're based on real outbreaks of foodborne illness.
I don't know if anyone here has had a foodborne illness, but...
Thank you.
It's not in time.
I knew someone who was so... Like, it was almost clinically diagnosed OCD of how much she would check her chicken because she got salmonella once, and she was so scared of having that salmonella again that it just wrecked it wreaked havoc on her body and on her mental health because she was like so afraid of chicken. So one of the most dangerous aspects of raw milk is that even a small amount can contain enough bacteria to cause illness, especially in populations, like I said before, children, pregnant women, the elderly, and those just with weakened immune systems. And I feel like there's a good amount of people
for sure
in the world that have weakened immune systems. So let's talk about what could be found in raw milk. So drinking raw milk can increase the risk of foodborne illness by pathogens, and some of these are commonly found in raw milk, such as salmonella, E. coli. Have you seen what E. coli does to people? Listeria can kill an unborn child.
Yeah.
It can cause don't even get me started. And Campylobacter. All of those are found in raw milk. They can cause serious and sometimes life-threatening illnesses. And like I said, like children, elderly, pregnant women, and those with weakened immune systems. So that's why pasteurization is so important, because it can significantly lower the chances of those pathogens surviving in the milk and getting to the host, aka the person who's drinking that milk. I don't understand why risk it when there's not a big difference in nutritional value. I really, really don't. But let's get into there's 3 myths that I really want to talk about.
Let's hear them.
So I kind of touched on this first one. Raw milk. Myth number 1. Raw milk is more nutritious than pasteurized milk. Fact. The argument, I sound like Dwight Schrute. The argument that pasteurization destroys nutrients is so far exaggerated that it's become such a fandom for people that they cling to this myth and they just run with it. And while it's true that pasteurization that we talked about earlier, it slightly reduces things like vitamin C, you're not drinking milk for vitamin C. Exactly. So it doesn't matter. And like the things that you're drinking milk for, calcium, protein, vitamin D, those remain intact. That's the main purpose of milk.
Exactly.
It's not more nutritious or nutritionally superior. Actually, the risk versus the benefit is higher. Yeah. So it just doesn't make sense.
It's not, the math is not mathing.
The math is not mathing. Myth number 2, raw milk helps gut health and helps digestion.
I've seen that one.
I will say that was the biggest argument that I saw when I posted something negatively about raw milk. I understand in this day of age, especially wanting the best for your gut health and wanting to help aid in digestion. There are other ways to do it without risking complete colon cleansing from foodborne illness. You know what I mean? Like the claim that raw milk's bacteria are beneficial overlooks the fact that the bacteria in the raw milk can be harmful and quite deadly to some populations. While probiotics are important, they are. I have said that we had a whole podcast about probiotics. You can get them from safe, controlled sources like yogurt or kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, miso.
Yeah, what?
There's a plethora of things that you can eat that are controlled and safe for consumption and don't run the risk of getting E. coli, salmonella, listeria. Like that's what I don't understand is when there's other options available, you don't have to run that risk. And that is a blessing in this day of age that we have these options. You don't need to participate in the trend just because your favorite influencer bought it from underneath the table from a farmer down the road.
I know it looks good.
I've talked to dairy farmers and they were like, no, I would not eat it. I would not eat it raw. And I think that says a lot from the dairy farmer, you know? And then myth number 3 is raw milk cures allergies and lactose intolerance. So there's literally no evidence that supports the idea that raw milk can cure allergies or lactose intolerance. People with lactose intolerance will still react to the lactose in raw milk. There's still lactose in raw milk. That's what I don't understand. Removed. So as they would with pasteurized milk. So same. It's not going to help. Sorry. If that's your reasoning, there's no evidence to support it. Hate to be the bearer of bad news.
I don't understand that. Interesting.
So yeah, those were the myths that I most commonly hear. And I wanted to talk about raw milk because yes, it is controversial and people are very, very, very passionate about their stance on it. Very and I too, I'm very passionate about it too. And that's why I'm making a podcast episode. But I want it to be an educated opinion versus just listening to an influencer and stuff. And hey, challenge me. Look up the research yourself. You will see that I am right because I looked up the research as well. But see it for yourself.
Yeah. I'm curious the opposing opinion for sure.
I mean, I'm sure I'll get messages.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's
I'm just
fine.
Curious, like what their basis stands on.
Well, the thing, I have a lot of anecdotal people that will come up to me and be like, well, I've been drinking raw milk for years and it's blah, blah. And I'm just like, very cool, brother. But like, you're just lucky. Yeah. I'm glad like you haven't had E. coli. Yes. Like, cows are dirty animals. I would not dress to the nines and go hang out in a cow pasture because they're not clean animals. So the thing that comes out of them needs to be pasteurized, and that's not a bad thing. And I'm very thankful for science to make it absolutely available for the general population, and we can go to our grocery store and go buy it. And if you have lactose intolerance, it's not going to help you, by the way. You just need to buy lactose free milk or take
almond
lactase
breeze.
Or that's almond milk.
Oh, love it.
I'm just passionate about raw milk because if it's just, I don't get it.
Why expose yourself to...
There's a safe option that's right next door.
Again, like you're not going to eat raw chicken.
I will say, people say there is a taste difference. I get it.
Between raw milk and...
apparently. I've never had raw milk.
You know what? Here's my thing. If you like raw milk, I challenge you to go to a farm and see the process of what it's like to milk a cow and see the dirtiness of the stalls, see the dirtiness of like what's going on, and then be like, hey, would you still drink it?
You know what's funny? So if I make a recipe video and they don't see me wash something, they like freak out and they're like, oh my gosh, the dirt, the germs. And I'm like, is this just a different population that's yelling at me about this?
The correlation.
It doesn't make sense, because I'm just like, if you're afraid of just like the outside germs and the dirt and stuff, but you're drinking raw milk, it doesn't make sense. I could go on and on about raw milk all day. I say this every episode. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, but this is one yuck I will throw out. Sorry, not sorry. Good stuff. All right. Hopefully we don't take another 2-week break. Schedule's going to start becoming more regular coming into the fall session. I know Emma will probably miss a couple of episodes because her and her husband are finally able to spend time together because he's not in the throes of some harsh training. So that's great for her. But so you're just going to have to listen to me by myself rambling for a couple episodes. But that's the only housekeeping I have, right? It'll be like September-ish.
Yeah, end of September.
Yeah.
Love it. Yay. Well, I hope you guys like this episode.
Yeah. If you have a topic you want us to speak on, just go to our Instagram, Dish and Nutrition Podcast, and there should be a highlight. You just click it, fill it in, and we will look at it going forward. But I guess on that note, you've been dished.
You've been dished.